The small, centuries-old church stood atop a hill, its time-worn stone walls weathered by the passage of time. St. Agnes Church had long been a source of solace for the villagers, a place of worship and reflection. But beneath its peaceful facade lay a darkness that had remained hidden for generations. As night descended upon the quiet village, a group of adventurous teenagers gathered near the church. Sarah, Mike, and Emma had grown up hearing stories about the church's unsettling history, tales whispered around campfires and shared in hushed voices. They had decided to spend the night inside the church, eager to prove that the stories were nothing more than superstition. Armed with flashlights, sleeping bags, and a sense of bravado, they entered the dimly lit interior. The air inside was cold, and a musty smell hung in the air. The flickering candlelight cast eerie shadows on the ancient pews, and the silence was oppressive. As they settled in for the night, unease settled upon them like a heavy shroud. Hours passed, and the teenagers' laughter and chatter gradually gave way to a restless silence. The wind outside howled, and the church seemed to creak and groan as if it were alive. Emma, the most skeptical of the group, couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. As the clock struck midnight, they heard it, a soft, melodic chanting that seemed to come from deep within the church. It was a haunting chorus of voices, ethereal and otherworldly. The teenagers exchanged nervous glances, their bravado replaced by fear. Mike, always the daredevil, decided to investigate. He crept down the aisle, following the eerie sound. It led him to a hidden chamber beneath the church, a place that had been sealed off for centuries. Inside, he found an old book bound in tattered leather. The book was filled with strange symbols and indecipherable text. As Mike turned the pages, he felt a sense of dread wash over him. He couldn't understand the words, but he knew that they held a terrible power. Back in the main chamber, the chanting grew louder, and the air seemed to thicken with a malevolent presence. The candles flickered wildly, and shadows danced on the walls. Emma and Sarah called out for Mike, their voices trembling with fear, but when Mike finally emerged from the hidden chamber, he was not alone. Behind him, a figure had materialized, clad in tattered robes and a hood that concealed its face. The figure moved with an unnatural grace, its footsteps echoing in the silence. The chanting reached a fevered pitch, and the figure raised its arms, the sleeves of its robes falling back to reveal withered, skeletal hands. The air crackled with dark energy, and the teenagers felt a force pressing down on them, as if the very church itself had come alive. In a desperate bid to escape, Sarah, Mike, and Emma fled the church, their footsteps echoing through the night. The figure pursued them, its ethereal form moving with unnatural speed. They could hear its chilling laughter echoing in the darkness. As they reached the village square, they turned to see the church bathed in an unholy light, its windows glowing with an eerie, malevolent energy. The ground beneath it trembled, and the earth seemed to swallow the building whole. The villagers emerged from their homes, their faces pale with fear. They had heard the chanting, and they knew that something had been unleashed within the church. With a deafening roar, the church collapsed into a massive sinkhole, its stone walls crumbling into the abyss. The figure that had pursued the teenagers disappeared, its malevolent laughter fading into the night. In the days that followed, the village was forever changed. The church was gone, and with it, the darkness that had haunted it for generations. The villagers could only wonder what had been sealed within the hidden chamber and what had been unleashed that fateful night. The memory of St. Agnes Church would live on in whispered tales and haunted dreams, a reminder that some places are best left undisturbed, and that the sins of the past can cast a long shadow over the present.